The world is cruel to those who don't fit its mold. The outcasts, the misfits, the ones too different to blend in. They are mocked, tormented, and reduced to nothing more than a joke in the eyes of those who believe they are superior. But sometimes, the joke turns on the ones who laugh the loudest. Sometimes, the laughter echoes back, twisted and malevolent, until it swallows them whole. This is the story of those who took pleasure in tearing someone apart, only to find themselves trapped in a nightmare where the joke is on them. Body. Liam had always been the quiet one, the weird one, the kind of guy people dismissed in the halls of Ridgewood High, the kind whose presence barely registered in a room until someone decided to make him the subject of their cruel amusement. It started small, whispers behind his back, muffled chuckles when he walked past. Then came the pranks, tripping him in the cafeteria, stuffing garbage into his locker, writing humiliating messages on his desk. The ringleader of it all was Jason and his group of followers, Dylan, Matt, and Cole. They called it teaching Liam his place, a social hierarchy, they claimed, where losers like Liam deserved nothing but mockery. Liam never fought back. He never reacted. But something simmered beneath his silence, something dark and patient, waiting for its time. That time came on the night of the senior party, an event where Jason and his crew planned to pull one final prank on their favorite target. A cruel send-off before graduation. They had it all planned out. A live stream of Liam's humiliation, an elaborate setup designed to strip away the last shred of dignity he had left. But that night, something changed. The party was held in an abandoned amusement park on the outskirts of town, a place shrouded in urban legends. Some claimed it was haunted, cursed by the ghost of a performer who had been ridiculed and left to die. A clown who had been the butt of every joke until he finally snapped. Jason and his friends didn't believe in ghost stories. They believed in entertainment, in making others the punchline. When Liam arrived, their trap was set. A spotlight illuminated him in the center of the old carnival stage, his face broadcasted on every phone in the crowd. Jason grabbed the mic, grinning as he addressed the laughing audience. "Ladies and gentlemen, gather around. Tonight, we present to you the final act of Ridgewood's very own clown, Liam the Loser." The crowd erupted in laughter. Liam stood frozen, his expression unreadable. Jason stepped closer, placing a hand on Liam's shoulder as he continued his taunts. But something was off. Liam wasn't shaking. He wasn't pleading or trying to escape. Instead, a slow, eerie smile spread across his lips. Then the lights flickered. The air grew thick, suffocating. The laughter around them twisted into something else, something shrill, distorted, unnatural. It echoed from every speaker, every phone. The screen that had once displayed Liam's humiliation now showed something else. A grotesque, grinning face. The clown from the legend. The laughter turned into screams. The crowd scattered as the stage lights exploded, casting shadows that seemed to move on their own. Jason and his crew bolted toward the exit, but the entrance was gone. The amusement park had transformed. They were trapped. Dylan was the first to go. A cackle rang out as something yanked him into the darkness. His screams were brief, cut off by wet, crunching sounds. The others ran, panic overtaking them. Matt tripped, his breath ragged. When he turned, he saw it, a figure emerging from the shadows. A clown with hollow, sunken eyes and a mouth stretched into a permanent, twisted grin. It stood over him, head tilting as if examining its next victim. Matt's scream joined the cacophony of laughter. Jason and Cole kept running, their minds refusing to process what was happening. Then, the carousel started spinning on its own. The mirrors surrounding it reflected their terrified faces. But something was wrong. In the reflections, they were laughing, but their real selves weren't. Cole clawed at his face, his expression frozen in a grotesque smile that wasn't his own. His eyes bulged, horror-struck as his mouth moved against his will. "I don't want to laugh." His body convulsed as if something was inside him, controlling him. Jason watched paralyzed, as his friend let out a gurgling giggle, his head snapping back unnaturally. Then Cole collapsed, his laughter echoing long after he was gone. Jason turned and ran. He ran until his lungs burned, until the park stretched into a never-ending maze. He screamed for help, but his voice was swallowed by the sound of hysterical laughter surrounding him. Then he saw it, Liam, standing in the middle of the funhouse mirrors. But it wasn't just Liam. Behind him, the distorted reflections showed something else. Faces, laughing, mocking faces. Jason's own face, twisted in 1,000 grotesque expressions of hysteria. Liam stepped closer, tilting his head. "They chipped at my dignity," he whispered. "Now, they're the ones getting mocked at." Jason's knees buckled. The reflections around him cackled louder, a deafening chorus of torment. Then Liam grinned. The lights flickered one last time, and Jason's laughter joined the rest. Laughter is a powerful thing. It can lift spirits, bring people together, or tear them apart. Jason and his friends had always used laughter as a weapon, wielding it like a blade against those they deemed unworthy. But now, in the haunted remains of the amusement park, the laughter wasn't theirs anymore. It belonged to something else, something ancient, vengeful, and insatiable. And as Jason's own voice joined the chorus of distorted, hysterical shrieks, he realized the horror had only just begun. Body. Jason's chest heaved as he clutched his own throat, trying to stop the laughter spilling from his mouth. It wasn't natural. It wasn't his. The muscles in his face strained, his jaw forced wide, his throat burning from the unnatural fit of amusement. His own reflection in the funhouse mirrors grinned back at him. Wild, manic, a puppet of whatever malevolent force had taken hold. His eyes darted around, searching for a way out, but the mirrors stretched endlessly in all directions, each one distorting him further. Then, from the flickering shadows, Liam stepped forward. But this wasn't the Liam Jason had known, the quiet, meek outcast they had tormented for years. This Liam moved with eerie confidence, his eyes reflecting the chaotic swirl of laughter around him. He wasn't smiling. He didn't have to, because Jason was smiling enough for both of them. "Please," Jason gasped between forced fits of laughter, his body trembling. "Liam, help me." Liam's head tilted slightly, his expression unreadable. Then he raised a single finger and tapped on one of the funhouse mirrors. The image within shuddered, warping until it no longer reflected Jason's face. Instead, it showed someone else. Dylan. Jason's eyes widened in horror. Dylan's face was frozen in an expression of sheer agony, his mouth stretched into an impossible grin. The mirror flickered, showing glimpses of his fate. His hands clawing at his own face, his body writhing in torment. His laughter, sharp, shrill, inhuman, echoed from within the glass. Jason staggered back, shaking his head. "No, no, no." Liam tapped another mirror. This time, Matt's reflection appeared, contorted in the same horrific way. His face was no longer his own, consumed by the same relentless laughter. He wasn't moving anymore. Another tap. "Cole!" His body twisted, his limbs bending at unnatural angles. His laughter gurgled and wheezed, yet his eyes pleaded for help that would never come. Jason fell to his knees, shaking violently. Why are you doing this?" For the first time, Liam's lips curled into a slow smile. He leaned in close, whispering, "I'm not the one doing it." The mirrors shattered. Jason screamed as shards of glass rained down, slicing into his skin. The laughter grew louder, swelling into a deafening roar. The walls of the funhouse twisted, morphing into something organic, something alive. The floor beneath him pulsed like the beating of a heart. Then silence. Jason opened his eyes, his breath ragged. The funhouse was gone. The mirrors, the laughter, the nightmarish figures, all vanished. He was standing at the entrance of the amusement park, bathed in the cold glow of the approaching dawn. He turned, frantic, searching for any sign of his friends. But the park was empty. No Dylan, no Matt, no Cole, no Liam. His phone buzzed. Jason's trembling fingers reached into his pocket, fumbling to unlock the screen. A new video notification from an unknown number. He hesitated, then pressed play. The footage was grainy, black and white. It showed the amusement park, the stage where it had all started. But there was something wrong. Jason watched in horror as he saw himself standing there laughing, his own body convulsing, his mouth stretched wide in an endless fit of hysterics. He was surrounded by shadows, shifting figures that seemed to merge and pull apart, their features indistinct yet grotesquely familiar. Dylan, Matt, Cole, trapped, laughing, screaming. Jason's breath hitched. He turned off the phone, his hands slick with sweat. He had to get out of here, had to leave Ridgewood, leave everything behind. But as he turned toward the road, a carnival tune played from behind him. Slow, mocking. Jason's body stiffened. His breath came in shallow gasps. He didn't want to turn around, but he had to. The amusement park was no longer abandoned. The lights were on. The rides were moving. The Ferris wheel turned, its silhouette looming against the pale morning sky. The laughter started again, soft at first, then growing, swelling, until it consumed everything. And in the center of it all, a lone figure stood, a clown, its hollow eyes locked onto Jason, its mouth stretched into an unnatural grin. Jason tried to scream, but the sound that left his throat was laughter. Conclusion: they thought they were untouchable, that their cruelty was just harmless fun. But some wounds cut deeper than flesh. Some scars never fade. And sometimes the ones you mock are the ones who get the last laugh. Jason disappeared that day. No one ever found him or his friends. Ridgewood whispered of curses, of vengeful spirits, of an amusement park that came to life only when it had new victims to claim. But if you ever find yourself wandering too close to that abandoned lot, listen carefully, because if you hear laughter when no one is around, it might already be too late.